This sounds like self-seeking, but it's not. It's necessary that you're here. It's not legalism. It's just if we want to be the best that we can be, let's join the army. If you want to be the best Christian you can be, you got to get involved with other Christians. We're not intended to walk this alone. We need one another desperately. And I think it kind of flies in the face of our Western individualism. Okay, we're kind of islands unto ourselves. We emphasize so much having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's not wrong. It's not wrong. We need to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. But there is something that we're missing in the West that they didn't have a problem with when Jesus walked this earth. It was so community-driven that this was understood that we need one another. We've kind of broken that down in our Western culture, and it's even been more broken down as we've become more isolated with our media, with our ways of communication. We don't have as, this is not a knock on social media, but we don't have as much face-to-face communication as we used to. It's easier to be alone. And the statistics prove that out. We are the most connected generation of people, yet statistically, we are the most lonely. Isn't that interesting? We are literally statistically the most lonely generation of people, yet we are connected to people around the world. We need one another. We need to talk face to face. We need to have fellowship with one another. That's why we push and we prod and we cajole you into getting involved in a life group. Because we know that's if you want to grow, if we want you to grow, we want you to grow to the next level of wherever you're at. We know that the essential, it's not enough to just do here. It's not. I mean, you don't work out once a week and think you're going to get strong, right? You just don't, it doesn't happen. You don't work out once a week and think you're going to get ripped. It's something that, yeah, I know. So, specimen, right? But we think we can do this spiritually, and we're going to be able to flex those spiritual muscles when they're needed. No, we need the community constantly. And that it's so countercultural and counter our own way of thinking that it almost feels weird to say it, which is strange. But we need connection. Folks, I would encourage you, and I can't make you do this. The Holy Spirit's got to help you to do this because it's not natural for us. Don't just come to church on Sunday morning, sit, stand, sing, listen, and leave. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. You know, I'm not a social person. Then hang out. Somebody will talk to you. If you are social people, don't leave. Talk to people. Okay? It's supposed to be a community. It's supposed to be a family. Okay? And how many can say families are messy? It's going to be a little messy. Get used to it. Get ready for it. Okay. So today I want to start out. We just had a big series on this, so I'm not going to touch on this too much, but one of the spiritual corporate disciplines is worship. Okay? So I want to read you one quote. William Temple said this: "To worship is to quicken the conscience by the holiness of God, to feed the mind with the truth of God, to purge the imagination by the beauty of God, to open the heart to the love of God, to devote the will to the purpose of God." Okay? Worship facilitates all that. It's kind of like a sponge. Just kind of cleans out. Get you ready for the Word of God. Get you centered. Get you right. Worship does that. It's an amazing thing. Now, if you didn't come to our 4-week series on worship, it's on the website. Go get it. The next item in this corporate disciplines that I want to touch on, and I love it, it's celebration. Did you know that celebration is a discipline? We're like, whoa, disciplines stink. Usually. Yeah. But celebration is one of the spiritual disciplines that we need to incorporate into our life regularly. We need to prioritize celebration. You not happy with that? Okay, good. Thank you. There, somebody thinks it's good. I kind of like celebration because usually celebration means cake. If celebration is primarily a corporate discipline, and if it brings such benefit to the people of God, how is it practiced? Here we go. Sing, dance, and shout. This is from an AG guy. I'm surprised he even got this thing published from AG. It was dancing in there, you know. But sing. What would happen culturally when people got together? They would have a party. They would, you know, the idea of the folk dance sounds so funny right now, right? But it was central to the life of our culture up till recently. Okay, this is not like this is not like the bump and grind dance. Okay, this is not what we're talking about. This is called like a social dance. That's how people met each other. That's how they communicate with it. You watch some of these shows that my wife likes to watch. You're laughing because you know. And they're dancing. That looks so weird. But they're actually talking while they're dancing. And they're doing. But like, here's the thing. I want to read it to you. A couple things here. We are free to celebrate the goodness of God with all that we have. All that we have. Miriam led the people in a celebration dance in Exodus 15:20. David danced before the Lord in 2 Samuel 6:14. Folk dancing, I already talked about, has historically been a carrier of culture. Okay? These are important. These get-togethers are important. That's why we have parties at our church. We like to get together. That's why we do Family Sunday. We should just, do like a square dance or Family Sunday or something like that. Take your partner, do-si-do, the whole thing. Russian? What? Yeah. But I'm telling you, this is part of church culture, and we need to protect that because the culture is going to erode that. We need to enjoy each other, and we need to discipline ourselves to do it. It's important to be involved in social events in the church because that's where you get to know each other. We're not meant to do this thing alone. So how better to get to know each other than to enjoy each other's company in a party setting, okay? Number 2, laugh. That's a cool laugh. Yeah, and just funny thing about it is that laughing is one of those things that we think is kind of irreverent in many ways. Listen, I've always said this. If church is serious all the time, then who wants to be there? It becomes I have to go to church because God said I had to go to church. Sunday mornings should be one of the more enjoyable times of your week. You should enjoy coming to church. We have tried to make an environment here where people, where you could say, I'm looking forward to church on Sunday. Yay! We're trying. Listen, so it's okay to laugh. It's okay to tell a joke. It's okay to be creative. It's okay to have fun. I remember talking to an old school pastor, and he asked me. It was one of my first times preaching, and I made the big mistake of having fun. I had fun preaching. I went down after. So he asked me, he goes, what did you think about your opportunity to preach? I said, it was so much fun. He said, I don't think that's an appropriate word. I said, I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but I had a good time. I enjoy this. This is fun for me. And I want, if we don't enjoy being Christian, then that's what the world sees. You know, we need to live the life that God has called us to, and we need to enjoy all of it. Now, there are some serious parts of faith. I get that, okay? But we focus on those way too much. Those are the only things we talk about. It's always this, that, conviction and condemnation and blah, It's okay to have a little fun. Can we do that sometimes? Is it okay to laugh? Okay, let's laugh. Let's enjoy that, okay? Psalm 17:22 says, a merry heart doth good like a medicine, right? Psalms 126:2 says, then was our mouth filled with laughter and our tongues with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. When we have a good time, when we realize the goodness of who God is, and it shows on our faces, the world goes, whoa, what is going on there? Because I'm pretty miserable. And everybody I come into contact with has problems. And we say, well, I have problems. Yes, but you have God. And he can lift you up. And in the midst of your problems, you can have joy and even a little laughter. And that's going to speak volumes to the world. Ecclesiastes 3:4 says, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. There's a time for every purpose under heaven. Now, if you're laughing during a morning time, you might be a psychopath. Sociopath, that's what I'm going to say. Psychopath, that's even worse. But what I'm saying is that there are appropriate times to do all of this. And if we only stress one side of the corporate disciplines, then we become, I want to say tidally locked, that's going to be sciencey. We become locked in a scenario that says, life is hard, God is okay. A lot of Christians had that feeling. Life is tough and He's all right. My life has tough moments in it, and my God is great. Okay? And every tough moment I go through, He is going to be there with me. So laughter is essential to the full life of a Christian. Hey, be creative. Number 3, be creative. Accentuate the creative gifts of fantasy and imagination. I love me some Lord of the Rings, some Chronicles of Narnia, some Star Wars. And I know that's so unspiritual, except for maybe Chronicles of Narnia. Anyway, listen, when we engage in creative things, we open up a part of who we are that otherwise lies dormant. God gave us creativity. He gave us imagination. He gave us a huge brain. And He wants us to use it. And the fact of the matter is, the more we stretch the multiple parts of who we are, the better God can use those parts. So we need to be creative. We don't need to be creative. If you're creative, be creative. If you're not creative, don't worry about it. People are like, oh, I can't do that part. That's okay. It's not everybody. How many creative people in here? Raise your hand. How many people think they're creative, but their spouse says, no, you're not? No. How many non-creative people do we have in here? God loves you too. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to take the ideas of the creative people and make them happen, because creative people don't know how to make anything happen. So we have all the good ideas, but we can't execute on any of them. So we need you. You're needed, okay? Celebrate family events. We have eroded the family in our culture. I'm not going to go off on a social media tirade, but I love family dinner time. And I am not the best at it because my mind is always working. That's how I am. So I'll get a gentle prompt. Right, Lincoln? You know what I'm talking about. A gentle prompt from my wife is, can we turn the phone off at dinner time? Yes. My wife has subsequently bought a basket for my phone. Right? Yeah. Good job, Lisa. You know how in the old days you used to have a phone on the wall? She's like, we're going back to the phone on the wall thing. Okay? Yeah, take it out there. Exactly. But family times, just simple opportunities for families to connect. Okay? Celebrate birthdays, celebrate anniversaries, celebrate wins and mourn losses together, enjoy each other, be involved in each other's life. Don't just be two ships passing, right? Don't just be in your own world. Enjoy each other. Parents, it's okay to enjoy your kids. Kids, it's okay to enjoy your parents. I know they're a little dorky, but that's okay. You're going to be dorky too some days. Okay? That's just the way it is. Embrace the dorkiness. Love them for who they think they are. Okay? Listen, we've got to chill out on each other. We've got to love each other. We've got to be involved with each other. We've got to, because there's plenty of moments, I would just say it this way, there's plenty of moments where dad has to be dad. And mom has to be mom in that way. You didn't get your homework done, or you're grounded, you didn't do that. Whatever. There's plenty of those times. And if there's not parents, there needs to be more. You hear what I'm saying? They need those boundaries. That's another sermon for another day. But there's plenty of those times. So don't waste the other moments. Enjoy each other. Get involved with each other's lives. And not just on a surface way. Kids, your parents may have traditions that you used to love when you were, the pumpkin carving party. I'm 20 years old, Mom. I'm not doing the pumpkin. Your mom might need that. She might need that moment with you as you get older. It may be a bit of nostalgia for her. So celebrate those things. Go to the pumpkin carving party for your mom because she's losing her baby. You see what I'm saying? Celebrate those types of things. They're important. They're important. This is all part of corporate disciplines. All right, here we go. Be festive. Did you know that there are demanded, no way out of it, festivals that the Israelites had to participate in? So God gave them all these commands, right? Do this, do that. And in those commands are have fun, celebrate, eat, drink, be merry. Do that. You have to. I'm making you do it. Because the natural man wants to just keep going. And God has to remind us that we are not just what we produce. We are spiritual beings that need to celebrate, that need to enjoy each other. One of the reasons why he did this was because Israel was coming out of Egypt. They were slaves in Egypt. 400 years of slavery in Egypt. The generation that's walking out of Egypt knows nothing but slavery. And guess what? As a slave, you don't get many days off. You don't get a whole lot of festivals. So God is trying to instruct them how to be a free people. And he's saying, no. I know you guys. You're going to work all the time. You're going to work. It's going to be all about advancing yourself. I demand you to stop and have some fun. I'll read them to you. Here we go. Passover, unleavened bread, the first fruits. These are all festivals. The Feast of Pentecost, the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles. After the exile, the Jews added memorial days for the fall from the fall of Jerusalem. Eventually, there was like 10 or 15 mandatory times on top of Sabbath, which is every week. Now, we'll get into that in another sermon, but I encourage you to look into the concept of Sabbath. I'm just going to leave it there for now. Like, ooh. Israel's feasts were communal and commemorative, as well as theological and typological. God demanded the Israelites to celebrate and have some fun. Don't get jaded. Christmas is coming. Do you realize we just did Christmas boxes? 2 months. We got 2 months till Christmas. And when we start saying things like that, you know what can happen? We can go, oh, 2 months till Christmas. I got so much shopping to do. We get jaded by the way we treat these holidays. Don't get jaded. You know what? Go shopping. Buy people gifts. Do the whole modern Christmas thing, but just don't get jaded by it. Okay? Christmas should be a fun thing. Christmas should be a celebration of Jesus' birth. Christmas should be something that we enjoy, and giving gifts is not a bad thing. Going into debt for gifts may be a bad thing. Just throwing that out there. Easter, I guarantee you will never see an egg-laying bunny. Weird. I mean, Santa Claus is one thing. He's happy and jolly. But an egg-laying bunny? That's just freaky. Here we're like, woo, egg-laying bunny, no problem. He's coming and laying eggs all over my house. Let's find him. Where do we get this stuff? It's so weird. But don't get jaded by our cultural expressions of it, but just enjoy it. It's okay. Celebrate. Get festive. Decorate your houses so they can see it from space. I love it. Oh, stop laughing. It's not supposed to be fun in here. Celebration, okay? Celebration gives us the strength to live in all the other disciplines. Do you see what I'm saying? Without that discipline of celebration, the other ones feel so heavy. But you add that in, that mandatory levity, that mandatory joy, that mandatory break from the everyday, that mandatory fun, and then the other ones don't seem so hard anymore. But it's when everything is heavy and everything is, that way, then they get really overwhelming. So that's why this one is actually very important. It's not just a side one like, oh, pastor threw in a fun one. It's absolutely necessary to the healthy life of a Christian. Okay. Next one. Here we go. And if we don't have celebration, this next one could get tough. Corporately. The next one is guidance. 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 Hebrews 10, 23 through 25 says, let us hold unwaveringly to the hope we profess. For he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some have the habit of doing. Not nobody in here. But encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Very important phrase here. And let us consider how to spur one another on toward love and good deeds. Have you ever seen a spur? Those are some boots right there, man. Tom, I think those are your boots. Tom, you have those boots, don't you, Tom? Okay. Look at that spur. I don't think that the horse is like, yay, spur me. He runs so that he'll stop spurring him. You see what I'm saying? It's not a comfortable thing. Guidance is never necessarily a comfortable thing. It doesn't have to be terrible, but guidance is something that, it kind of gets us moving, but it's not always fun. So what we need to do is we need to consider how we may spur on one another. Encourage one another. Give guidance, but do it in a way. Consider how to best motivate your brothers and sisters. Don't be that person that's always poking people in the eye. take the log out of your own eye first. Right? But real guidance, real spiritual guidance is done. It does move us forward. The whole point of spurring is to move us forward, right? But real guidance is done with buckets of love. So we need to be that people for each other. We need to be accountable to one another. We need to know each other well enough that I can speak into your life and then you could speak into mine. But if we don't know each other, you can't do that. Then it just seems like somebody's poking a stick in your eye. See what I'm saying? That's not comfortable. Nobody likes a stick in the eye. Can I get an amen on that? Okay. All right. Nobody likes a stick in the eye. All right? Last one. And this one's a big one, and we're going to spend the rest of the time on this. Community. Community. American individualism has emphasized a personal relationship with God, but has de-emphasized the communal relationship with God. Okay? It's de-emphasized it. The international Christian community is a non-negotiable part. We are, you know what was really cool when the church started and really started to take off in the early parts of the church? It was called the Catholic Church. You know what Catholic means? Universal. That's what it meant. That's what it meant. Every church around the world was one body. We are supposed to be connected to everybody. That's why these boxes are so great. That's why missions is so vitally important. Because we are not, listen, you're not alone. I'm not alone. This church makes up, 120 people out of a greater area where there's multiple churches who are preaching the gospel. Okay, we're not alone as a church. The Northeast is called the preacher's graveyard because it's a tough place to hold the ground. It's very cold. But we're not alone in the Northeast. We got churches all over the United States that are lifting up the church. And we're not alone as American churches. In fact, some of the most vibrant churches around the world are an example to us. If we don't learn from each other, then we might as well be an island to ourselves. We're not. We are part of a greater community. All right, greater community. Christianity is not, this is John Wesley, Christianity is not a religion of solitude and solitary. The Bible knows nothing of solitary religion. John Wesley. The Bible knows nothing of solitary religion. Why is this so important? Hit the video. It's so important, and this is why. 1 Peter 5:8 says this, "Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." First law of the jungle, never be alone. Never be alone. When you get off on your own, you bring yourself into an opportunity to be attacked. Okay? What in that video, what happened? The lions separated a mom and the baby, right? And it wasn't until the whole herd came coming back in that those lions felt intimidated. I'm telling you, folks, never be alone. 1 Peter 5, we're going to read the whole context of this. It says this: so I exhort the elders. Now, the elders here, the word is presbyteros, and it means presbyter, older, experienced, or leader. That's what that means. It's not just, old people. But usually the old people have all that stuff. Remember that, young people. Okay? The older people in our congregation have a lifetime of experience. And if we would listen to them, we might be better off. We got to be careful that we don't marginalize those who have all the answers. That's stupid. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? All right. So they're like, we don't have all the answers. Well, you have more than we do. So I exhort the elders among you as a fellow elder and witness of the suffering of Christ, as well as the partaker of the glory that is going to be revealed. Shepherd the flock of God that is among you. Exercise oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you. Not for shameful gain, but eagerly. Not domineering over those in charge, in your charge, but being examples to the flock. Those of us who've been in the faith for a little while, act like it. Not under compulsion, but willingly. We should be investing in those who are young in the faith. Okay? And when the chief shepherd appears, you'll receive an unfading crown of glory. Likewise, you who are younger. Now, this word younger means neos, is translated neos, and it means new or fresh. Okay? So you may be older, yet you're new or fresh in the faith, therefore you're unexperienced. So you need the elders. Now, your elder actually might be younger than you in age. Isn't that kind of a weird thing? But the fact of the matter is that we need to be invested. The whole point is we need to be invested in each other's lives. So likewise, you younger, be subject. Hypotoso means submit yourself. Or in other words, be teachable. Be teachable. Be teachable. Don't think you have all the answers. Students in here, be hypotoso, hupatasso, whatever it is. Be teachable. Guess what? You don't know everything. Shock of all shocks. And then it goes on to say this: clothe yourselves, all of you. Now, this word all is pas. Is this word pas, and it means all. So whether you're an elder or you're younger, all of us we need to, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. So we all need to be humble. I don't care if you've been a Christian for 100 years. We got something to learn from the younger generation. You know what happened? You know what's happening in churches around our country? They're closing. Because the older generation doesn't believe that they have anything to learn from the younger. And when there's a young person comes in their church and starts to do something a little bit different, what do? It's like those bulls up there. They like, get them out of here. But on the other side, there's churches that are very intolerant towards the older generation. I don't want to be that church. I think there's such richness and fullness in having a multi-generational church that is growing, all of us, because we're all being humble. We know that there's something we can learn from each other, and that's what a community is all about. Okay? Clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. We're going to end with this. We're talking very theological translations of the Greek here, right? There's a translation that is not quite there. In the South, they have created a better understanding of the word pas. That word pas, relating to the collective you. And it's the word y'all. Y'all. Everybody say y'all. Y'all. I don't even think I'm saying it right. I'm saying it like a Yankee. Y'all. Y'all. So we're going to read this next part of Peter, and we're going to insert a collective you. Ready? Here we go. Humble yourselves, you all, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time, he may exalt y'all. You all, it's all of us. He's not talking to an individual. He's talking to the collective, the church, right? Casting y'all's anxieties on him because he cares for you. Y'all, all of us, be sober. All of us, be sober. Be watchful, because y'all's adversary, the devil, prowls around like a lion, roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. He wants to separate you from the body so that he has a better target. Because he knows that when you are by yourself, you are at your weakest place. And it takes being part of for us to say, no. Don't believe what that enemy is saying. There's no way that that's true about your life. There's no way. You could get through this. You can overcome this through the power of God. We're here for you. We're there. But when you're out by yourself, the enemy tells you lies, and there's no one to tell you that's not true. He's the father of lies. So, y'all need to be in church. Resist him firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being accomplished in y'all's brothers throughout the world. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called y'all to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish y'all. You, all of us. As a church, he will affirm, establish, strengthen us. Isn't that great? That's why we need to be together. To him be the dominion forever and ever. And everybody said, stand with me.